Hey guys, so the simplification, the first thing, if we take a look at which one, at this guy, the with the clusters, once we do the cluster, let's go in. So if we zoom in, what we're getting basically is a piece of geo. It's a Voronoi piece with a lot of interior details that are spiked in this way. Okay, so that's pretty much what we have. And if we can take an existing, let's take for example this guy, this group of geo. I think that's fine. So let's say this is the goal geo that we want to create. We can start off with, let me create a shrink wrap around this. We can start off with a geo like this, maybe a smaller, and then we select the interior faces. All this stuff, anything that is considered to be interior faces, and then we add, we remesh them. We remesh the interior faces, and then we add the noise along the that pushes them along the y-axis. So let me show the idea. Let's do it. So this is our original result, and instead of fracturing at this resolution, I'm going to use a smaller count. So I'm gonna fracture it into smaller blocks. Okay, and I'm going to upres it to show you guys the idea. So let's do a for each connected piece. And let's select the piece by hand. So let's assemble these guys so we can do easy selection. And let's say this guy here. Okay, and let's remove, let's unpack it. Yeah, we did unpack it. Let's remove the inside and outside, or separate them. So that's our outside faces and outside faces. I'm going to remesh these guys, and let's group the outer edges to make sure that we keep that. So outside, and then remesh and make sure we keep these guys safe. Okay, and let's remesh. Okay, maybe 0.1. Cool. So remember a while back when we did the setup of the normals, we made the up constraint. So let's take a look at that. I should probably set up a visualizer and do this the right way. So we have these vectors, and then if we remesh that, we inherit that attribute, and that's what we're going to use to push along these points. Let's create a point fob. And let's dive inside. Let's import the up vector. And let's create a displace along normal. And this is my normal. So let's make sure we normalize that. This is our position. And this is our new position. Okay. And as for the amount, we're going to create a noise pattern based on the position. And let's try simplex. Let's do a turbulent noise. and find one that, zero-centered purlin, and let's increase the frequency. Something like that. Let's increase the roughness to get more spikes. And I'm going to blend in the edges. So I don't want to deform the edges. I want to keep that, and I want to add this. I want to basically keep this constant and smoothly start introducing the noise. So let's do something very very simple. We did group that. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back to the original geo. Put down a divide node. Remove unshared edges. Now we make sure that we have only the outside border, and I'm gonna put down an end node. This is going to convert it into, if I unroll the U and V, this is gonna give me back curves. So let's resample those curves. Maintain. Let's resample them even more. Okay, now we have a lot of points. Let's delete everything but points. And I'm gonna put down a color node. Set this to red. And this to black. And now I'm gonna transfer that mask. And let's lower the radius. And we need more details in the remesh, so let's do that. The range is very small, so we have to be careful. Okay, so now we have a mask that we can use, and we still have to play with the noise, but I'm gonna mix between this and the original using the red channel that's coming from the color. Okay, so we have that. Let's try maybe this. Something like this. Okay, let's go up. Let's put down let's delete the color information. And let's join this with the original outside. And now we have a piece of wood that has interesting details. You'll probably have to work on the mask a bit. I'm gonna lower the remesh for now. And I think we can increase this guy a bit. Okay, so we did this and everything looks great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna loop over all of this, and I don't need to isolate that, I don't need that. So this is going to be my input, this is going to be my output, and I'm gonna put a compile block. It's going to be the out, this is going to be the in, and I don't need this anymore. I'm gonna turn on multi-thread when maybe there is an issue with the with the compilation, so we'll just wait for the I'm not going to worry too much about this. Okay, so we have the upres pieces, and you can see we have a lot of cool details now. If I do an exploded view of this, and let's assemble it again. We have a lot of interesting wood-like patterns, and so this is going to be our upres version. Okay, we're going to use this for in the final render, and then for the sim we're going to use this version. So this is the sim version and this is the rendering version. Now as you can see, there is a few things here that are popping out, coming out of the surface, and we're going to fix this now. So let me delete this. I don't know why it's not working. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a volume out of this. So I'm going to fuse all the points. Actually, I don't need the interior, so let's remove that. I just need the interior face, the exterior faces, fuse everything, and then we're going to convert it into a VDB from Polygon. And I'm going to generate an SDF. Also going to compute the store the original position of these guys before we deform them into a rest attribute. I'm going to add a rest attribute here, and let's take a look. Let's increase the resolution even more. Let's click on fill interior. Okay. Let's compute this. Cool. So if we put down a wrangle node, one second, and if we plug in back, if we restore the rest attribute, everything will snap back to place. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna check if there is something that is outside the original volume of the geometry, which is coming from this SDF. If that's the case, I want to restore the position. Okay, so let's use a point volp. Let's connect this here, and I'm gonna volume sample, and we're going to sample the second input, and the position is P, and the name, I like to use name, so the name is surface, and we're gonna compare. I'm gonna compare if this is less than 0, we're gonna do something. Let's put a two-way switch and put a constant for with two different colors. So one here, red, and blue. If the condition is not true, let's plug into the color, and there we go. We have red and blue. And if, as you can see, anything that is blue is outside. So we're simply going to bind, import that rest attribute, and if it's blue, if it's this, we're going to use the rest. If not, we're going to use P, and now we fixed the volume. Basically, we checked if the data is outside the volume, use this color. Let's flip this like it was before. So if it's blue, it means it's outside. We're going to use that to restore the rest position, okay, which we stored already. So as you can see, that's our rest position there. And if not, then we just can continue to receive the current position and we don't change anything. And that's pretty much it. Now if we go back, everything is working. Exploded view. Everything seems to be fine. I think there is some issues maybe with the assemble. Maybe we should just assemble it once and make sure and not change that. Let's turn this off. Yeah, I think this is more correct. I don't want to auto detect. Yeah, this is more correct. So as you can see, we have a lot of detailed wood pieces. So that's what I did. I simmed using this version with just a pin constraint like anything else, and that's what I used in the final version. We can also, and we should obviously, increase the resolution of this guy to get more details using the same appress technique, because we have that N attribute. And actually, if we didn't have the up vector, if we didn't have the orientation, we wouldn't be able to push the noise in the correct angle. If we could use the normal of the face, but it's not going to be very accurate. I prefer to use the orientation of the geometry itself. Okay, so I think that's it. In the next video we're going to let's do this. Actually, I'm gonna, let me save this to with copies. So I want to set up all the copies for this guy. Okay, and for that I'm gonna lower the count so it's faster to iterate on. Maybe even lower. Something like that. 30 is fine. Yeah, because we're gonna have multiple copies. And then I'm gonna do a preview of this. And then we'll continue in the next video. We're gonna add the copies and attach them to the main building and run the sim again. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.